Hey everyone, it's Kong again with another episode of Should You Summon. One of 3 this week actually, so I've been busy. As always, I'm going to be presenting high-level overviews using these 4 criteria to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. How these characters fit into your team, whether they unlock any bonds, what kind of content they get used for, and their future availability. So let's get right into this classic Destiny banner featuring Landius, Yulia, and Jugler, running from July 22nd to August 4th. As a Destiny banner, the first SSR you pull is guaranteed to be one of these 3 that you don't already have. After you draw that first SSR, or if you already have all 3 of these characters, then it just becomes a normal rate-up banner. Alright, let's get started with Landius. Landius is still one of the game's best overall tanks, although he's just starting to lose a little bit of steam versus Hilda and Christiane in that regard. He's great for both PvE and PvP, he can counterattack at 2 range, he has a passive skill that lets him self-revive after being killed once, and he has an aura that reduces incoming range damage and crit chance. Even though this banner's been rerun several times and I've made this video several times, we actually do have an update here. Landius is slated to get his unique weapon in August. When he has nearby allies and he gets attacked, he takes less damage the farther away the attacker is. So this is something that's designed to help him survive those pesky long-range turret mages like the Light of Genesis. He's a member of Protagonists, buffed by Matthew, and Yeles Legends, buffed by Landius and Sigma. His faction buff for Yeles Legends grants plus 15% damage dealt if you don't have class advantage over your enemy. He unlocks the attack bonds for Lanford, Listel, the Knight of Mystery, and Rachel, and he needs Rachel for his own attack bond as well. He's on faction for Phoenix in the Eternal Temple, and he's still a core unit of the top scoring teams for Hugin and Munin in Ancient Beckoning. The fact that he can tank against range units makes him very helpful in almost any general PvE content. In PvP, probably his most enduring meta feature is his aura that can help shut down incoming critical hits, which can be very annoying for enemy assassins. Especially assassins like Zerida that really rely on getting critical hits. For availability, this entire banner is coming back in mid-December. Moving on to Yulia. Yulia is a magical DPS unit with a lot of self-sustaining, incidental healing stuff in her kit. If her HP percent is high enough, her talent gives her boosted damage, up to 3 self-revives, and self-healing after combat. Her 3-cost skill is a ranged attack, kind of like Discipline, with some features poached from her other skills as well. It dispels her debuffs, and heals her, strips some buffs from the enemy, and speeds up the cooldown if you get a kill. It's pretty sweet. She's a member of Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwyn, and Grenier, Princess Alliance, buffed by Luna, Shelfaniel, and Christiane, and Mythical Realm, buffed by Gizaroth and the Sage of the Trees. This puts her on faction for Scylla in the Eternal Temple. She's still a staple in top-scoring Needhog parties, but she seems to have been largely replaced for Fenrir. She is still hanging in there as a PvP threat as well, since she can lock down and strip tanks and has pretty healthy sustain. She doesn't unlock anyone else's bonds, and she needs Jessica for her defensive bond and Zerida for her attack bond. For availability, as I mentioned a mere couple of minutes ago, this whole banner is coming back in mid-December. But if you don't want to wait that long, Yulia is also coming back 2 weeks from now on a raid-up banner with Hilda. Finally, we have Jugler.
Right. That's the spot. And a little bit lower. Go to the right a little. Oh, yeah.
Jugler is another meta-defining tank whose talent heals the rest of the team whenever he takes damage. This makes him the primo anti-AoE tank. He also has some strong offensive options, such as the single-target Beast Shock, and his 3-cost skill, which teleports him into the midst of his enemies with an AoE blast and locks down adjacent units. He's a member of Meteor Strike, buffed by Zerida and Epsilon, Origins of Light, buffed by Dehart, Jugler, and Freya, and Mythical Realm, buffed by Gizaroth and the Sage of the Trees. His faction buff for Origins of Light grants an additional 15% damage dealt when you have a higher hit point percentage than your enemy. He's on faction for Scylla and Valkyrie in the Eternal Temple, and he's still a staple in the highest scoring teams against both Fenrir and Jormungandr. Jugler's also perennially one of the top PvP tank options. His combination of AoE team healing and a dangerous splash lockdown is simply too good. If he does start to drift out of the PvP meta, it'll be because more boxes have more ways to deal with him effectively. He unlocks the defensive bond for Sophia and the attack bond for Pierre, and he simply needs SR characters Sophia and Lifney for his own bonds. Okay, so here's the quick and dirty. We have Landius, who's a dominant distant counter tank. He unlocks the attack bonds for Lanford, Listel, the Knight of Mystery, and Rachel, and he carries a faction buff for Yeles Legends. We have Yulia, who's a strong general-purpose tank disabler. She has self-revives and incidental healing. And we have Jugler, who's a dominant team healing tank. He unlocks the defensive bond for Sophia, the attack bond for Pierre, and he carries a faction buff for Origins of Light. And by extremely popular demand, the Notes for Noobs section is back. So if you're a newer player with a newer account, or you just don't mind a kind of verdict summary to help you digest all this information, should you summon? As long as you're still missing one of these characters, use your Destiny summon to pick up your guarantee, and then summon again the next time the banner rolls around until you have all three. There's no need to go too ham trying to get a specific character when you have normal, non-Destiny rates though. Finally, just a reminder about upcoming banners. Next week is the launch of the new crossover with Ronin Warriors, featuring Kaiyura and Ryo Sanada. We'll also be able to get the free SR hero Toma Hashiba from the accompanying Secret Realm event. Kaiyura, at least, made a big splash in PvP, so she'll be a must summon for a lot of players. The week after that, we'll have a raid-up banner featuring Hilda and Yulia, and the week after that, a Langrisser Reincarnation Destiny banner with Ares, Nomi, and Maya. Alright, so that's it for this episode. Hopefully you found these summaries helpful enough to be worth a little thumbs up, and let me know in the comments if you're planning on summoning and what kind of luck you ended up having. This is one of those rare happy banners where I already have all three of them at 6 stars, so I don't have any temptation to summon here, even for duplicates. But like I said in the summary, it is a good one. All three of these characters are good, and when you have Destiny summon mechanics to play with, it's always safe to be able to pick one, as long as you have enough vouchers. Since this banner actually is going to overlap with the crossover banner for a week, you could try to get your summons for Kaiyura in, and then once you know you've secured her, you can use whatever leftover summons you have to try to pick your Destiny character here, if you don't want to worry about emptying the tank before you have that rare collab character locked down already. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching, best of luck to everyone, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon. Extra special thanks, of course, to our Langrisser tier channel members Levitt, Derek Gunderson, Kyle Greer-Brown, back into house, William Householder, always into house, and Kate Soon, as well as all of our gold tier members for your generous support. Thank you so much.